Hey, so today I'm actually interviewing the owner of Position Franchise, and basically we're going to learn about how franchises have a 90% success rate. Um, so the franchises that we're talking about are basically not the McDonald's, not the Burger Kings, not the Wendy's. These are uh, different types of franchises that are not very small in brand, and basically you got to learn how to get involved in them, and how choosing the right franchise is important for your sense of mind, for your sense of lifestyle. Precision franchise can help you find the right one. Okay, so this is her Instagram page, her LinkedIn page, and her Facebook page. What is
Okay.
precision?
So first, I'm a franchise consultant or broker where I assist you with owning your own business by way of the franchise industry or a proven business model. So what I like to use as an analogy is such as a real estate agent when you're looking for a home. You find a real estate agent or broker, you explain to them what it is that you're looking for. They take that information and they go into their MLS and come back.
Okay.
So I do something very similar where I have my version of the MLS, where it's of thousands of business opportunities and proven business models. I go a little bit deeper where I do ask you specific questions to understand your lifestyle, your goals, um, things about your family. Even sometimes I have a resource that I use as well that scientifically asks you questions so that you can the answers that you give and the answers that you provide puts you in a particular section. So whether it's you're a belonger, you're an achiever, etc. So I use
Okay.
that information to help aid me in this search for that right business for you. I work as an internal advocate where I guide you through, particular questions that you may need to ask. I do the thorough research and I point out any red flags that I may want you to point out or ask questions surrounding when I do eventually set you up with the one-on-one, not interview, but, first calls with these brands directly. So, and I'm there on the calls with you as well.
These are not. I just want to make sure that. So you're not talking about like multi-level marketing or network marketing, right?
No, no, no. These are businesses.
So
So
these
these
are like
are
actual businesses, like McDonald's, Burger King, something like similar to
right,
that.
right. But I
Okay.
don't focus on the big brands. So
Oh,
I'm
okay.
glad you brought that up because when people hear franchises, that's the first thing they think about is a McDonald's, is a Subway. But that comes with a very hefty tag and
Oh, really?
yeah, and a lot of red tape.
Okay.
Whereas I'm showing you businesses that you may not have heard of, or maybe you have seen around and didn't really think anything of it, and you can get into those businesses for a fraction of the cost.
Wow. So how much of a fraction are we talking about?
Well, it does vary because we are talking about hundreds and hundreds of brands.
Okay.
However, it does depend on the industry. There's brands that you can work from home. It could be an additional stream of income. A lot of people don't realize that you can own these businesses and not have a brick and mortar. So
Really?
those are going to be substantially lower than your brick and mortar. Now, there are particular restaurants or food concepts that you can get involved in as well, where you're awarded those franchises. And, it can be, when I say a fraction of the cost, you literally do need to prove a hefty net worth. And, it's like $1 million.
Okay.
Whereas with these brands, maybe for a food chain restaurant, you're talking about maybe 200,000, 300,000 or less. There's a lot of brands that you can get involved in that is under 50,000. So it's a wide range and it's over 50 different industries.
How did you get started in it?
I learned about the franchise industry probably around 15 years ago, believe it or not. And I was so surprised of those numbers. I was surprised at the fact that um, owning a franchise business or a proven business model is what is also called is a 90% success rate, so long as you're following the system. And I thought that that was phenomenal. I'm used to hearing the statistics on small businesses being in the first 5 years, 50% of small businesses fail. A lot of us have heard that before, but we have not heard of a pathway where you can, you know, have a successful business model that is typically a 90%, success rate. So I thought that that was phenomenal. And then the fact that there's so many across, again, over 50 industries of franchises, which means that you are doing business. You can be doing business with franchises every day and don't even realize that that is a franchise.
Give me some examples.
So some examples. I would say, well, there's a lot of service-based franchises out there, such as with flooring or installation. You have franchises that are moving, trash. I mean, honestly, the list goes on. There's so many different businesses. So the key is to find out what's going to work for you. And the only way for you to find that out is for you to really sit down and really answer these types of questions on what do you like to do? What is your day to day? What is your passion? What's your lifestyle like? So I try to really dig in and find that out and make sure that I'm taking that and matching that with the right business.
And how do you currently advertise your business nowadays?
Well, lately it's been Clubhouse, believe it or not. Not sure if you're familiar.
Yes, I am.
Yes, I have been all over Clubhouse since the end of last year. So that's one way. I do have a website, which is precisionfranchise.com. I also have an Instagram, same name, Precision Franchise. I have a Facebook business page as well. And I have been doing webinars. On Thursday, yesterday, I actually had a webinar for Women's History Month called Women Rising, a conversation with women in franchises. And what I did on that webinar is I had several brands there with me, along with the president of the Franchise Business Review, and she's also chair at the IFA, which is the International Franchise Association for Women.
Okay.
I had a beauty brand on there, an excellent model. Decalash is a model that we represent as well. We had a home care assisting hands, and we had education, Club Z, and we had a vending machines as well. I actually have a few brands with vending machines, and that one was Naturals to Go. So I love the brands that I had on there because it showed variety. Like, so that represented a brand that, well, whether you wanted a completely passive ownership, where you wanted to scale, which is the vending opportunities are great for that. The beauty brand is also good for passive, or if you want to go in it full time. You also had a brand representative if you're looking to fully transition. You have people that are retiring. You have people that, have decided, what, I'm ready to fulfill my passion and I want to leave corporate. If you love the home care industry, then Assisting Hands would have been a great fit for someone like that. And education is doing phenomenal right now. It's a tutoring concept, and it's actually global. So you have global reach, and this is something that you can also do from home. So that also provides flexibility as well.
A lot of these brands, do they need any type of experience going in? Like, say for tutoring, do you have to have tutoring experience before you get into it, or you say the person doesn't have any tutoring experience?
Mhm.
Would that be something that he can get into?
So that's what's great about this as well, is the fact that no, you do not. What they do value is leadership skills. They value management skills, and they value passion for the industry. So you do not have to be a teacher. You do not have to be someone that was a prior tutor. It's more on your management skills and some market, because you'll be managing and taking care of the tutors and the businesses.
Oh, so you'll be hiring people to actually do that,
Right.
not doing it yourself. Okay. And how, in terms of marketing, how much flexibility do they have in marketing their business?
So that's an important point. The brands that I actually just spoke about have a ton of support in marketing. So if we were looking at the education, they'll set you up with, they have a mentor, they have a lot of training, and that is one thing that I always tell my candidates is you want to look at the brand's culture and their support level. And that's what's phenomenal about owning a franchise or a proven business model is because you're not by yourself. You truly own this business, but you have an entire brand that is backing you. And a lot of times, I mean, you would have concepts where there's a call center. And as a matter of fact, that education um, one that I just spoke about, they have a call center that's on your behalf.
Let's take a little sidetrack first. As an entrepreneur right now, what do you do in the morning time? Or you have any kind of exercise program to get you up motivated to get out of here? I mean, get to work.
Well, I'm glad you asked that because I was actually very happy with my results. So since about the middle of October, I have committed to training with a personal trainer
Okay.
3 days a week, and I have not missed a week. So 3 days a week since the middle of October, I have been working out with this trainer, and it's been great. I'm so glad that I did it. I stuck to it. I've never stuck to that regimen for that long.
Wow.
And I just passed my milestone of 20 pounds, and I don't even know how much inches. So I'll surprise my trainer tomorrow because I think I'm going to go ahead and weigh in and stuff. But that's what I've been doing.
Okay. How has the pandemic been for you? I mean, I has it changed much in your business when you're dealing with clients, dealing with prospects?
As far as with my business, no. There have been people naturally that's going to be concerned with particular models. It would depend on which business it is, but that is something that I also bring up. I always tell them, I want you to ask them what happened last year. How did they respond to COVID? What are the challenges that they had? And you would have some brands that had some challenges, but what's important is to see how they handle it. Did they come together? Was there increased meetings? Did they offer anything? Pay attention to what happened during that time. And then you have some brands that's experiencing an uptick just by the nature of that business. And they were able to implement some innovative things that actually had their business making even more money than they did.
When someone comes into the program, do they have to bring their own, I guess, their own attorney, banker? I mean, what sort of team do they need to put together before they actually meet with you?
So I actually assist with that as well. I pair them with a franchise attorney. No, you don't have to take that franchise attorney if you really feel like, oh well, my cousin happens to be an attorney. That's fine. But I always caution and tell them you can get another attorney if you want. You can go your own way with funding, but always make sure that it's a franchise attorney. I think that is very important that they're specifically a franchise attorney. I also have, funding partners that I work with. And I failed to mention that we did have funding partners as well on my webinar last night.
Okay.
So I truly guide them through their journey in finding business owners.
So what are you? I mean, for what you're doing right now, how did college or prepare you for this, or anything in your childhood prepare you for you starting your business?
I would say there's always something that you can take with you, right? And I feel like I've done a lot of business classes. I've done marketing classes, and I think particular professors and classes, help shape me as well into it. And hey, from our past life, Vincent, I always contribute, a lot of the things I do for the type of training we had, at New York Life. I thought it was, it was the start of my professional career. So I do feel like everything that you have done, you do carry some things with you and it shapes.
What kind of issues or challenges did you have when you were starting your business?
I think it's just on trying to be visible, trying to bring up the awareness. I knew that that was something that, for me personally, I thought that I would struggle with because I'm not. I've never been a person that liked to do like video calls and that do too much in social media and things of that nature. And I told myself, so when you're planning out your year, they're like, okay, so resolutions and things of that nature. And then I learned about, oh no, the new thing is a theme, like have a theme. And I'm like, well, I never thought about that. It was like, well, yeah, like, so what's your theme for the year? So I thought and I said, okay, um, well, part of my theme is to become visible because I know that the whole reason why I was so attracted to this is not just what I'm doing for people, but the fact that I myself has realized that no one I knew was talking about this.
Okay.
No one that looks like me was definitely not talking about it. And I don't, so I'm like, well, we don't know. And I'm like, well, the reason why we don't know is because there's no one in our communities that are speaking about stuff like this. So I'm like, well, the only way to try to cure that is to be visible. So that's why I accepted, and I thank you for doing this interview with me. But that is what I've been trying to do. So
Okay.
that was the challenge, and I'm overcoming that by doing more things.
Um, can you share some stories of people that you have helped?
I've gotten people that has been pretty surprised of the process. Like I feel as though like when people first speak with me, they're waiting for the other shoe to drop. They're like, okay, this can't be. I'm waiting to see what's really going to happen. Am I going to be charged? And they're thinking that they're going to be charged when in reality they're not, which is why I like to use the real estate analogy. Because you would not pay a real estate agent, when they find you homes. And once I use that, that's when they realize like, oh, okay, I get it. So I think that once they realize that, they let their guard down a little bit and they started to get excited. And the stories that I could think of is just of that midpoint of when they really feel like, oh my God, I really like this brand. And I think the stories that I can think of is people that came in thinking that they wanted one thing, but then got really excited about something completely different. And they're now looking to have multiple locations in this particular industry. So that's the best that I could really tell you. I don't really have any other good stories.
What about a case where wasn't a good fit?
Um,
You probably have weeded them out way beforehand. They wouldn't have even gotten to.
you know what? I had someone that I don't know if to say it wasn't a good fit, but they were so focused on one industry, which was a big brand. So they was thinking about chicken. They wanted chicken. They wanted pop. And, they have this idea that, well, I just know that if it's the Popeyes, that it's going to be good in this area.
Okay.
And I think that they let that cloud like their judgment. Like they weren't really open to hearing about other things because again, these brands, it's not like an exaggeration when I say $1 million, and then on top of that, you get the loans, you put all this capital up, and let's say you even get through the red tape because that's the next thing. A lot of these big brands, they already have their candidates already lined up, because normally it's the same people that's owning multiple. So they don't normally or usually go outside. The average person just don't realize that it's a lot more than just picking it. And that's the next thing that I also have to, pretty much educate people on, is that it's not just your choice. Like the same way you have to be the right fit for, the same way that you want the brand to be the right fit for you, they're looking at you as you got to be the right fit for us, because it's very important for the brand to have the right franchisee, you know. So they will turn you away if whether you have the money or not, if they don't feel like you fit their culture.
Okay.
So these are the things that I educate people on as well. So I feel like if you're not open to and looking to understand that and really take your time and go through the process, then it doesn't end up being a right fit. Like, they'll end up dropping off because maybe they just have their mind set on that one brand, and they don't realize all that's needed, to even get to that brand.
If someone wanted to get into starting a business, like exactly what you do, and what kind of advice would you give to them?
If they wanted to start the business,
So start to
what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Well, one, definitely, because what I did, I made sure to speak with people that was already doing it.
Okay.
I think it's important to do your own research.
Okay.
And to find out about the organization that they're affiliated with.
Okay.
And really understand the day-to-day and understand, what it takes and the type of inventory. Just continue to really, to have more conversations with people that's already.
So my last question is, if someone was looking to start a franchise, what are the top 5 advices you would give them?
If they're looking to own, like if they want to own a business and it's a franchise,
yes,
I would say, well, one, you definitely want to work with someone like me, because of it's a lot of noise. What happens is when you go and you blindly go into, whether it's an expo or you're looking online and you just type in, I don't know, chicken or something. And, you'll get responses, you'll get, put into systems. And then what happens is you may not get followed up with based on what you checked off. Or you might start with one. It may not be one that's the right fit for you, but that's just the one you chose. And, you just things just don't work out. And then you lose like your momentum, and then it just gets left. This is the type of feedback that I get. So having a franchise consultant, having the right franchise consultant, I think is going to make all the difference in you owning the right business. Another thing I would say is be open. So for the example that I gave earlier, if you come in because you think that exactly, the brand that you want, then you're going to rob yourself of the experience and the education to really understand what is out there and why, what you're thinking about may not match what it is that you're looking to do. So again, for example, if you're constantly saying that I think I want brand X, but after everything you told me, I'm like, well, brand X is full time and you only want passive, then that's not going to work. Or if brand X is heavy in sales and you don't want anything to do with sales, you know what I mean? And it's like, sometimes you got to explain that to them, which is why the questions that I ask is important. The business assessment that they go through is very important. It's because it reveals these things. And then they start to understand more about themselves, and they start to understand why I chose the models that I did. So you definitely want to be open. You want to make sure you have capital. It is important for you to save. Now, I can't tell you exactly how much, because that would depend on the brand. Because, again, depend on the brand and their level of investments, it's going to be different. But you can't expect to not have any capital at all and think that you're just going to be able to take out a loan. You're not going to get a loan without, you have to have skin in the game. So you have to make sure that you understand that saving is important. Also, your credit. Make sure that you have at least a 650 credit score. So again, I say these things because if you're at 620 right now, if you're at 630, at least you know what to work towards, right? If I tell you that have capital and you want to have anywhere between 25 to 35 access of liquid cash, you know what to work towards. Wow, I felt like I might have went through 5. Is there another one?
Well, now you brought me up some other questions. Are there any surprises after you start, after you got your regular capital, you have everything set, and then all of a sudden you're in the business? I mean, does the business owner get any surprises that, I need so much additional money?
No. And the reason why is because, again, that's the next thing that's great about franchises, that there's a document called FDD, which is the franchise disclosure document. Everything you need to know about the franchise is in this document. And franchises are regulated by the state as well. So by law, you have to have this document for 14 full days before you can sign, any checks or anything like that. So that's how important it is, because it's giving you the opportunity to review exactly what's going on with this franchise. So whether it's the financial performance, which would be the item 19, or the territory or anything, it's all listed in there. So there wouldn't be any surprises, because everything that's going on with there financially, it will be in this document. And that's also the reason why you need to have a franchise attorney, because they're very familiar with the FDDs. And a lot of times, the franchise attorneys that I may end up pairing you with, more than likely, they know the brand that you're looking to get awarded.
Okay. Now, these franchises that you're dealing with, are they only for U.S. Business owners, or are they Canadian, international?
They are international as well. So, for example, the education concept that I told you about that was on my webinar, they have a global reach, and I believe they just opened one in Turkey.
So you can actually have a U.S. business owner owning a business in Turkey, or?
Yeah.
Tamika, do you currently have any resources that you can provide anyone to look at?
So I have a free e-course that's available on my website, precisionfranchise.com. I also have a questionnaire, and I love that because that helps me out a lot if you're looking to book time with me. So this questionnaire allows you to actually rate the industry. So this way, it's going to open your eyes as well. Because again, you may come in thinking, oh, I really, like fitness, but then when you start looking at the questionnaire, you're like, oh, wow, they have real estate. Oh, they have such and such. So you would then rate from 1 to 10 your level of interest, which is very helpful for me during our initial call. And you can book time with me directly on there as well. It's very easy. Precisionfranchise.com. You can always send me an email as well, which is my first name, Tamika, Tamika, at precisionfranchise.com. I'm on all social media. You can follow me on Instagram at precisionfranchise.com, Facebook, and I'm also on LinkedIn.
Do you have any last words for anybody?
I just want to say that business ownership within this industry is definitely within your grasp, and you don't know what you don't know. And so if you have any questions at all, feel free to pick my brain. I would definitely love to educate you, because I do feel like we need to build awareness. And if you leave with nothing but just the information, I feel like I've done my job.